Hi, good evening. This is Scott at Scott Trades on Twitter with StockMarketMentor.com and your chart of the day. Going to look at a couple of charts here. You know the old saying, so goes Apple, so goes the market. And that's really the case here. Apple closing near the lows, QQQ closing near the lows, SPY closing near the lows. But there's one ETF that I found was outperforming Apple today, and it caught me way off guard. And that's Cathie Wood's ARK. Now, there's been a ton of shade thrown Cathie Wood's way. I personally think Cathie is great. I think she's extremely intelligent, and I love her outlook on the future, technology, and the overall market. And so I look at the ARK ETFs all the time. ARKK, ARKG, ARKF, all part of my scanning protocol on a daily basis. And so I was actually surprised when I saw ARKK was up on the day and Apple was down on the day. And I'm scratching my head like, what is happening? What world are we in?
No. What year is it?
Couldn't figure it out. And then I looked at ARKK. And I looked inside the ETF. And you can do that here on TC2000. You can press a little button, open the window, and you can see everything, well, pretty much, that's in the ARKK ETF. And look at this. All of those things are up bigly today, with Unity up 11%. Now, just looking at Unity, we'll look at some others soon. I mean, pretty much everything in this ETF has been crushed, along with the ETF itself. And so when we have this huge extension to the downside, we get that big snapback to the upside. I mean, even from November, Unity at one point was down about 86%. But just in the last week and a half or so, from the low, it's up 42%. And so I think that that's why we're seeing a lot of strength in ARKK, because we have all of these things that are massively oversold, and they are bouncing hard. But it is bringing some stability here to the ARKK ETF, because as you can see, the last couple of days, man, it's just gone sideways. It's in a nice sideways range. And so I do have a little piece of ARKK right now, and I'd like to get bigger in the position, but first, I'm going to need to see some higher highs. I'm really going to want to see it get above this base right here. I think from a short-term perspective, you have clear short-term support down there at around the 40-60 level. Longer-term support down here at 35. And so from a short-term perspective, this is the range that I care about. From a longer-term perspective, probably care about that $35 level. But for now, I want to see this get above and stay above that level and test the underside of these moving averages. You know, really give us some higher highs and bring price closer to the 50-day moving average. That's the red line here. And the reason for that is because typically when ARKK can get back above the 50-day moving average, whether it's up here, whether, time goes on and the price eventually moves up to it, that's really, in my opinion, when you can get a nice trend on it. I mean, the last couple of ones have failed clearly, and so it's been a clear level of resistance. But even back here in July and June, as soon as ARKK got above the 50-day moving average and did it on decent volume, you had a clear level to define your risk off of. And you could say, okay, I closed below the 50-day, and I'm out. And then, it just kind of chugs along nicely and gives you a nice trending trade to the upside. Those are my favorite kind of trades. This choppy, sloppy mess, not really my favorite. I don't make a lot of money in this, but I do quite well on these nice trends that are above the 50-day moving average and climbing up that 8-day exponential. And so that's what I'll be looking for here on ARKK eventually. I'd like to see this start to trend to the upside, but first, it's got to break out of this consolidative base. And if those stocks that are inside the ETF continue to bounce to the upside, if those shorts continue to cover, then I think we're going to see a move here on ARKK. So I'm going to set an alert on my platform right around that 44.20 level, and then I'll look for strength and a strong close above there to swing a position. So I hope that video is helpful. Hey, give me a follow on Twitter if you don't already, at Scott Trades. And you should check out what we're up to over at stockmarketmentor.com. Click the link, take a trial, and I'll see you on the other side.